Welcome, Huda. It's my pleasure to host you today on this live. Before we start taking questions, I would request you to talk about the importance of nutrition for a pregnant mom and a breastfeeding mom, and also share some tips how to make a healthy food choices. Huda?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the introduction, Preeti. So, as we celebrate National Nutrition Week, the first and the foremost thing for a pregnant woman or for a breastfeeding mother, it's very important that you understand that your body has gone through a lot of hormonal changes and also physical changes. So, during pregnancy, your body is going to go through hormonal as well as physical changes. Also, pregnancy is demanding because you would need nutrition not only for your health but also for the health and development of your baby. So, nutrition becomes extremely important when you are a pregnant mother because everything you eat will directly or indirectly affect the health of your fetus or the child that's growing within your womb. That's why you should always opt for healthy foods. You should always opt for a well balanced diet which has macronutrients as well as micronutrients, so proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, vitamins, and minerals. Also, you should take your prenatal vitamins such as your folic acid, vitamins as well as minerals, so folic acid, iron, vitamin D. Everything needs to be taken during pregnancy so that your child grows well and at the same time you are also healthy in the process. So foods like that are rich in protein, folic acid, iron become extremely important during pregnancy. So 50 to 60% of your nutrition will come from carbohydrates. About 23% of your nutrition will come from proteins and about 20 to 30% of it will come from your fats. At the same time, the demands of calcium, iron, folate, vitamin C increase in the body. So calcium will double. If you are as a non-pregnant woman, if you need 600 mg of calcium in the body, you will require 1200 mg of calcium in the body. And also your iron intake will go up. So it goes up to 35 grams in the body, and a lot of other vitamins and minerals also are needed. So vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, everything is needed. There's a minimal increase in the amount of B complex vitamins that you would require, and also iodine because you typically get it from the food that you consume. For a breastfeeding mother, why is nutrition important? There are two reasons. Number one, you would be feeding your child. So, as a breastfeeding mother, anything you eat will will also, help in production of breast milk. So, you would be providing food to your child for the first 6 months, and then you would be breastfeeding your child along with weaning. And secondly, you need a well balanced diet because you need to heal. As your body has gone through a lot during the process of pregnancy and labor, you need your body to heal. So, proteins become extremely important. Iron becomes extremely important, as a lactating mother. Folic acid remains important even after you've given birth because, again, there are a lot of hormonal changes that are happening in the body. And also, you should continue to consume carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. But at the same time, you should make sure that you are not eating processed foods, refined foods, packaged foods, or anything that is not healthy for the body. So these are few reasons why nutrition becomes important for pregnant as well as lactating mothers. At the same time, easy and healthier alternatives or choices that you were asking about, Preeti. So what you should always do is stock on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds, dairy and dairy products, and try and avoid eating as much as processed, refined, or outside food as you can. So when you're making, so if I have to give you a simple example of the breakfast, if you have to choose a breakfast, always choose a breakfast that has protein, carbohydrates, as well as good fats in it. So what do we mean by good fats? Omega-3 fatty acids, they are good fats. You get it from fish, nuts, seeds, eggs also have some amount of it. So you should always try and stock up on enough of protein, enough of carbohydrates, as well as good fats, because these are going to help you in the process of pregnancy as well as lactation. Yes, Preeti.
Thank you, Huda, for sharing this with our expecting mom. Now we'll be moving to your questions. For those who have just joined, please post your questions in the comment section, and we'll be taking up questions in English as well as in Hindi. We would first taking questions first from Parentune app, Parentune site, and then from Parentune social handle. So our first question is from Rajender, and he's an expecting father. He wants to know what kind of diet a expecting mom should be taking during the third trimester of her pregnancy for the good brain development of the child.
Okay. So, as I was saying, you need to eat a well balanced diet. So, all the foods from the food pyramid, all the food groups need to be consumed. So, whether it's fruits and vegetables, lean meat, eggs, and omega 3 fatty acids that are good fats, whole grains, everything should be consumed. And at the pulses, cereals need to be consumed. Also, if you are specifically looking at brain development of the fetus, then there are certain foods that help in brain development of the fetus. So, foods that are rich in omega 3 fatty acids, because DHA is extremely important for brain development. Next, iron, because iron is going to provide your baby or your fetus with oxygen. So, you need enough of iron, and oxygen is very important for every living being. So iron is extremely important. So your green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, lentils, beans, all of these need to be consumed. Next, you need to eat your, take in your dairy and dairy products that are a very good source of calcium, and they will also help in development of the fetus. At the same time, lean meats, as I was saying, whether it's your chicken, eggs, and fish, all of these need to be consumed. At the same time, it's very very important that you ask your wife to consume all the prenatal vitamins and minerals. So whether it's folic acid, whether it's iron, whether it's vitamin C. Vitamin C is also very very important because it will help in the uptake and absorption of iron in the body. So these are few things that you need to take into consideration. Also, protein becomes very important because it is required for the development of tissues, wear and tear of muscles, and it will help in development of your baby as well. Folic acid is very important because it will not because there are problems like spina bifida, and also there could be neural tube defects if folic acid is not taken enough. So that's why folic acid also becomes important, and fruits and vegetables are very important because fruits and vegetables have antioxidants which can prevent free radical damage in the body. And when free radical damage in the body is prevented, it will help in growth of your child, it will help in brain development of your child. So these are few things that you need to take into consideration if you are looking to boost brain development in the fetus. Yes, Preeti.
Thank you, Huda, for answering this in so much of detail. I hope, Rajender, you heard what Huda has advised to you. So, moving to our next question. Next question is from Shivani, and Shivani is a mother of 6-month-old child, and she's saying that my baby is not gaining weight. So, what kind of food she should be including, as she would be starting semi-solid now to the baby, and also I'm a breastfeeding mom. So, what kind of diet I should be taking so that I can continue breastfeeding my child for a year?
Okay. So, firstly, I'll come to the breastfeeding question. So, since you would not be exclusively breastfeeding your child now, you would also be giving, foods, and you will be putting your child on weaning. So, since you're not exclusively breastfeeding, but still certain nutrients are extremely important, whether it's iron, whether it's folic acid. But iron goes down to, when the levels go down to as a pregnant woman, as a non-pregnant woman. So if you need to take anywhere between 21 grams of iron in the diet when you're, lactating. So you should, as I was saying, you should include all the foods, all the food groups, whether it's your beans, lentils, pulses, and your dairy products, lean meat, nuts and seeds. Everything should be consumed. Green leafy vegetables should be a part of your diet. Fresh fruits, vegetables need to be consumed. All the seasonal fruits and vegetables. So, a well balanced diet that has proteins, enough of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats is good for you as a breastfeeding mother or a lactating mother. The next thing, if you're going to put your child on weaning, the first and the foremost rule that you need to keep in mind is don't start with fruits as the first thing, because fruits are sweet in nature. And our palate or our taste buds, they become easily accustomed to sweet. So that's why first and the foremost, you need to start with something like a rice kanji. Make sure it's not too thin, or make sure it's not too thick. So you can start with rice kanji. You can start with dal soup, which is like not very thin and thick again. And then you can also give fruits, but slowly and gradually. You can also introduce mashed potatoes. You can give pureed carrots. You can give pureed spinach. So blanch it first and then you can puree it. And at the same time, you can also give your child porridges. So oats porridge, dalia porridge, and ragi porridge can be given to your child along with breastfeed and formula feed if you are willing to start with it. And these are few things that will help you throughout weaning. So the next 6 months, you can make these foods, whether it's dalia, oats, ragi, and rice, dal, in different forms. And you can experiment with different dals also, as and when your child becomes accustomed to foods and semi-solids. Yes, Preeti.
Thank you, Huda, for answering this. So our next question is from Meenakshi, and has asked a question from Pune. She's expecting mom, and she's in her fifth month of pregnancy, and she wanted to know what to eat and what to avoid during this time.
Okay. So, as I've been saying, if you are pregnant, there's nothing. See, pregnancy is a natural transition. The only thing is there are certain nutrients that you require for during your pregnancy, and at the same time, don't go by the old adage that says that you need to eat for two. Yeah, दो लोगों के लिए खाना है. That's not required. If you are taking three basic meals in the day and one or two good snacks, healthy snacks in the day, it's more than enough for you and for your baby, but it needs to be nutritious. So, green leafy vegetables need to be consumed. At the same time, lean meat, eggs, dairy and dairy products, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, seasonal fruits. All of these can be consumed. There's no restriction on the same. The foods that you should avoid are, this will always, this is something that will always remain, whether it's a breastfeeding mom or a lactating mother, are processed foods, packaged foods, and foods that are high, really, fried foods and high calorie foods. Anything that is bought from outside needs to be avoided. So, only thing that you can get from outside is fruits and vegetables. Try and stick to fruits and vegetables because they are good for your health, and they will also, because fiber is very important for your body at this stage. Fiber will prevent constipation, because a lot of pregnant women also suffer from constipation. So that's why enough of fiber will come from your whole grains and your fruits and vegetables and your beans and lentils. So these are foods that you need to consume, and the foods that I've told you that you shouldn't be consuming, unprocessed foods and packaged. Yes, Preeti.
Thank you, Huda, for answering this. I hope, Meenakshi, this helps you. So, moving to our next question. Next question is from Gurvinder Kaur, and she has just blessed with a newborn, and the baby is just 23 days old. So, congratulations on your newborn, Gurvinder. So, Gurvinder is asking that my baby is facing gas issues. So, what she can do as the baby is on breastfeed?
So
Would you
baby
like
is
to, yeah,
facing
facing gas?
gas issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Gurvinder, firstly, congratulations. And if your child is facing colic, now colic is pretty common in infants. And if your child is going through colic, the first and foremost thing that you need to take care of the diet that you are consuming. If you, whether you are consuming any foods that are giving your child a problem, because anything you eat will directly or indirectly affect your child's health. So if you are taking anything, so at times, cow's milk, if you are consuming cow's milk, your child may have, a gas issues. Or if you are taking certain beans and lentils or certain fruits and vegetables, typically, if they are giving a problem to your child. So just check your diet for all the foods that you've been consuming. Secondly, I would suggest that as you are a new mom, try and avoid too much of dairy products in your diet, because as a new mother, we are fed with a lot of dairy products and at the same time a lot of jaggery. So it is, while it is good in moderation, make sure that you don't overdo it, because again these foods can also give you a problem. You will end up gaining weight and they will also give your child an issue. So just check your diet as to what you are consuming that is giving a problem to your child. Also, if your child has continuous colic issues, you can take a suggestion from your child's doctor or pediatrician and get an anti-colic medicine for your child. So you basically get medications for it, and you can start with it after consulting your child's pediatrician. Yes,
Thank
Preeti.
you, Huda, for answering this. So, Huda, would you also like to talk about what are the certain foods a breastfeeding mom should avoid during breastfeeding?
So during breastfeeding, Preeti, typically there's no, what do you say? There's no typical thing that you should be avoiding, but there are certain foods that can give your child a problem. So I mean, everything needs to be eaten in moderation, whether it's pregnancy or whether it's lactation. But during lactation, what happens is anything you eat will typically give your child a problem. So processed foods, refined foods, outside foods, and fried foods, high calorie foods. So anything that is made out of maida, or these biscuits, all of these can pose a problem for the mother as well as the child. So it's always good to remove these foods from the diet at least for the first 6 months. It can be consumed once a while, but these should be removed. And also, if you're as she was asking, that there are colic issues, there could be certain foods that can create a problem for your child. So just look into your diet once and you would know what foods are giving your child a problem. Yes, Preeti.
Thank you, Huda. So, moving to our next question. Next question is from Anu Majid, and she is a mother of 5-month-old child. And इनका सवाल हिंदी में है. ये कह रही हैं कि मेरी बेबी 14 सितंबर को 6 मंथ की हो जाएगी. वो एक्टिव रहती है, फीड भी लेती है, और डॉक्टर के कहने पे इन्होंने फार्मूला मिल्क और सीरियल्स देना भी स्टार्ट कर दिया है, जैसे कि सूजी का खीर.
Hmm.
बट लेकिन अब कुछ दिनों से बच्चों का वेट नहीं बढ़ रहा है, तो
Hmm.
शी वांट्स टू नो कि मुझे इन्हें क्या क्या खाने में देना चाहिए, और क्या ये ड्राई फ्रूट्स दे सकती हैं बच्चे को अभी, और अगर दे सकती हूँ तो कितनी क्वांटिटी में देनी चाहिए.
ठीक है. तो सबसे पहली चीज जो है, अनु, आपने जल्दी सेमी सॉलिड स्टार्ट कर दिए बच्चे के लिए. तो बच्चा, द चाइल्ड इज नॉट कंप्लीटेड 6 मंथ्स, राइट?
यस.
तो जो सेमी सॉलिड्स होते हैं या बाहर का ऊपर का खाना जो होता है, वो कभी भी आपको 6 महीने के बाद ही स्टार्ट करना होता है, क्योंकि 6 महीने के बाद बच्चे का जो सिस्टम होता है, डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम, वो उतना डेवलप हो जाता है कि वो ऊपर का खाना ले पाए. उसके पहले जो होता है, बच्चे का सिस्टम ज्यादातर ब्रेस्ट मिल्क जो होता है उसको इजीली डाइजेस्ट और अब्जॉर्ब कर सकता है. तो कभी भी आपको 6 महीने के बाद, जब बच्चे के 6 महीने कंप्लीट हो जाते हैं, उसके बाद ही आपको सेमी सॉलिड स्टार्ट करना चाहिए. दूसरी चीज ये होती है कि जब हम सेमी सॉलिड्स देना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं हम जितना ब्रेस्ट मिल्क दे रहे हैं ना, उस पर हम कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. बिकॉज ऐसा होता है कि हम ऊपर का खाना दे रहे हैं, तो फिर हम ब्रेस्ट मिल्क कम कर देते हैं. तो इसलिए अगर आप ब्रेस्ट मिल्क भी कभी कभार बच्चे को जो होता है वो इजीली हजम हो जाता है, तो उससे भी बच्चे को कोई दिक्कत हो सकती है या इश्यूज हो सकते हैं. तो अभी जैसे आपने स्टार्ट कर दिया है, तो मैं आपको सजेस्ट करूंगी कि आप चावल की कांजी हो गई, दाल सूप हो गया, ओट्स का पॉरेज हो गया, दलिया पॉरेज, रागी पॉरेज, ये सब दे बच्चे को. और अगर आप सूजी की खीर दे रही हैं, तो मैं ये सस्पेक्ट कर रही हूँ कि आप उसके अंदर काउज मिल्क ऐड कर रही होंगी. अगर आप काउज मिल्क ऐड कर रही हैं तो प्लीज वो बंद कर दें, क्योंकि उससे बच्चे के डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम पे असर होगा और बच्चे का वजन नहीं बढ़ेगा. क्योंकि जब आप काउज मिल्क देना स्टार्ट करते हो और फैट्स का मैकेनिज्म जो बच्चों में होता है वो डेवलप नहीं होता है ठीक से 1 साल तक, अगर आप पहले देना स्टार्ट कर देते हो, तो ये होता है कि बच्चा बहुत ज्यादा पूप करने लगता है, या बहुत ज्यादा बच्चे को जो है काफी बार डेफिकेशन होता है, जिसकी वजह से जो है बच्चे का वजन बढ़ना बंद हो जाता है. तो इसलिए काउज मिल्क आप बिल्कुल भी ना दें 1 साल के पहले. और सूजी भी जितना हो सके आप 7th या 8th मंथ से स्टार्ट कर सकती हैं. पहले आप राइस, दाल, ओट्स, ये सारी चीजें शुरुआत करें इन सब चीजों से. दूसरी चीज, शी आस्क्ड समथिंग एल्स, नट्स. ओके. तो नट्स जो है वो आपको 1 साल बाद ही देना है बच्चे को, क्योंकि एज मैंने आपको पहले ही बोला है, नट्स में जो होता है उनमें फैट्स होता है, और फैट जो डाइजेस्ट करने का मैकेनिज्म होता है बच्चों में, वो ठीक तरह से 1 साल बाद ही डेवलप होता है. तो इसलिए आप 1 साल बाद ही नट्स दें, वो भी आप उनको रोस्ट और पाउडर करके दें. बच्चे को ऐसे खाने के लिए आप नहीं दे पाएंगी, क्योंकि बच्चे को जो है वो सारे दांत नहीं आते हैं 1 साल तक. तो इसलिए आपको पाउडर फॉर्म में देना होगा, लेकिन 1 साल बाद ही. तो ये सब चीजों का आप ख्याल रखें. अगर बच्चे का वजन नहीं बढ़ रहा है, देखें कि डाइट में ऐसी कोई चीज है जिससे बच्चे को तकलीफ हो रही है या बच्चा नहीं डाइजेस्ट कर पा रहा है, क्योंकि अगर डाइजेशन इश्यूज होंगे तो बच्चे का वजन नहीं बढ़ेगा. इसलिए जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, दाल सूप हो गया, राइस कांजी हो गई, ओट्स पॉरेज, दलिया पॉरेज, रागी पॉरेज हो गया, स्ट्यूड एप्पल पेयर हो गया, मैश्ड बनाना, मैश्ड पटेटोज, ये सारी चीजें आप डाइट में आराम से बच्चे को दे सकती है और इनसे बच्चे को कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी। इनफैक्ट आप वेजिटेबल सूप भी दे सकती हैं, जिसमें कोई भी एक वेजिटेबल आप ले लें, कैरेट ले लें, स्पिनच ले लें, उसको ब्लांच करके, उसको प्यूरी करके, थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेन करके आप बच्चे को दे सकते हैं। यस प्रीति।
Thank you, Huda, for explaining this in so much of detail. So, if you have joined this parenting live just now, we are with Huda Sheikh, who is answering your questions on nutrition during pregnancy and breastfeeding. So, go ahead and feel free to ask your questions in the comment section. So, moving to our next question. Next question is from Kiran Sahi, and she has asked her question from Pune, and she is a mother of 1 year child. And इनका सवाल हिंदी में है, ये कह रही हैं कि बच्चों में हेल्दी खाना खाने की आदत कैसे डलवाएं।
ठीक है। तो किरण, ये बहुत ही आसान है। सबसे पहली चीज़ मैं आपसे कहूँगी, आप ये पूछेंगी कि आसान क्यों है? क्योंकि जैसे आप बच्चे को सेमी सॉलिड्स देना स्टार्ट करती हैं, जैसे ही आप बच्चे को सेमी सॉलिड स्टार्ट करती हैं, तो अगर आप होममेड फूड्स दें, मतलब ऊपर की कोई भी स्टोर बॉट खाना देने से अच्छा, प्यूरीड फ्रूट्स जो बाहर से हम लाते हैं वो देने से अच्छा, अगर आप जैसे घर का ही खाना बनाकर बच्चे को अलग-अलग तरीके से दें, जैसे सूप्स हो गए, अलग तरह के पॉरेजेस हो गए, और अलग-अलग तरह के फ्रूट्स आप इंट्रोड्यूस करते रहें बच्चे की डाइट में, वेजिटेबल्स इंट्रोड्यूस करते रहें, तो बच्चे को आहिस्ते-आहिस्ते उन सब की आदत पड़ जाती है। तो अगर आपका बच्चा अभी 1 साल का हो चुका है, तो आपने ऑलरेडी सेमी सॉलिड्स दे दिए होंगे काफ़ी सारे। तो ये चीज़ का आप ध्यान रखें कि आप बाहर की कोई भी चीज़ ना दें बच्चे को अभी से, जैसे कि चॉकलेट्स हो गई, बिस्किट्स हो गई, या चिप्स हो गए, या कोई भी चीज़लिंग्स हो गई, ये सारी चीज़ें आप अवॉइड करें। जितना हो सके घर पे ही आप अलग-अलग तरह की चीज़ें बनाएँ। जैसे आप वेजिटेबल इडली बना सकती हैं, वेजिटेबल उत्तपम बना सकती हैं, अलग-अलग तरह के चिला बना सकती हैं, जैसे बेसन ओट्स चिला हो गया, ग्रीन मूंग दाल चिला हो गया, पैनकेक्स बना सकती हैं, होल व्हीट पैनकेक्स बनाना के साथ में, एग्स के साथ में। उसके साथ-साथ आप अलग-अलग तरह के सूप बना सकती हैं, जैसे मैंने आपको कहा वेजिटेबल सूप्स हो गए। फिर अभी आप डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स भी दे सकती हैं, तो पनीर मूंग सूप हो गया, या टोफू भी आप इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकती हैं आहिस्ते-आहिस्ते। तो ये सारी चीज़ें आपको बच्चे को आहिस्ते-आहिस्ते करके अलग-अलग तरह की, जैसे फ्रूट्स, वेजिटेबल्स हो गए, और जैसे-जैसे आपका बच्चा समझदार होता जाएगा या जैसे-जैसे बच्चा समझने लगेगा, तो आप घर में ही एक चार्ट बना सकती हैं, जिसपे आप जो फ्रूट्स है, सीज़नल फ्रूट्स, वेजिटेबल्स है, योगर्ट है, डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स है, एग्स है, उनका एक चार्ट बनाकर बच्चे को समझा सकती हैं या बता सकती हैं, जैसे-जैसे बच्चा और समझदार होता जाए। तो ये चीज़ों का आप ध्यान रखें कि थोड़ी-थोड़ी आप जो भी होगा, जो भी चीज़ें आपको देनी है, वो आप घर पे ही बना के दें बच्चे को, और कम नमक में, कम शक्कर, कम घी, कम तेल का इस्तेमाल करें अभी बच्चे के खाने में। और मीठा जितना हो सके आप ना दें बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा बच्चे को, क्योंकि जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा, मीठे से बच्चे अक्सर बहुत जल्दी यूज़्ड टू हो जाते हैं, बिकॉज़ वो हमारे पैलेट को बहुत ईज़ी लगता है और बहुत अच्छा लगता है। तो इसलिए आप जितना हो सके घर का बना हुआ खाना दें बच्चे को, स्टोर बॉट कुछ भी ना दें, और जितना हो सके आप एक्सपेरिमेंट करें बच्चे के खाने में, तो बच्चा आहिस्ते-आहिस्ते करके सीख जाएगा अच्छा खाना और न्यूट्रिशियस खाना। यस प्लीज़।
आई होप किरण साही आपने ये एडवाइस सुना होगा जो हुदा जी ने बहुत ही डिटेल में समझाया एंड बहुत सारे टिप्स भी इन्होंने शेयर किया। आई होप ये आप ये फॉलो करेंगी और ये आपको मदद जरूर करेगा। So, Huda, would you also like to tell us, what is the right time to introduce egg to child, and also how much in a day, matlab, the child we can introduce egg?
Right. So I would suggest that you introduce it only after a year, because what usually happens is, as I've been saying, because the egg yolk, it has fats in it, and also the it is very high in protein. It is very good for the child, but after a year is the best time to start experimenting with your child's diet. So when you start experimenting with your child's diet, you can start introducing things like eggs, chicken to your child. Also, because till 1 year your child cannot chew things properly. Also after 1 year the child develops all his teeth and is able to chew properly. So after a year it's always better to give eggs, because the child can chew. At the same time, the child can get the taste of everything. in the first 6 months, if you try and introduce too many things, or if you try and experiment with too many things, it is going to get difficult for you. So after a year, it's always a good time to give your child eggs, and it can be in the form of boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, it can be in the form of an omelette. Anything can be given after a year. Yes,
Sure,
Preeti.
Huda. Thank you. So moving to our next question. Next question is from Zubina, and Zubina has asked her question from Ludhiana. She's a mother of 5-month-old child, and she's saying that my baby is 5 month old, who is on exclusive breastfeeding. I have a confusion. Whenever I eat certain dishes with garlic or ginger in them or non-veg items, my daughter doesn't take my breastfeed readily. Does the
Hmm.
taste get passed through milk? Also, whenever I eat beetroot or carrot, she has undigested food in her poop. Is this normal?
Hmm. Okay, so no, the taste won't be passed on because the breast milk typically has, a taste. So the taste won't be passed on, but it depends on the quantity of garlic and ginger she is taking in her diet. Also, beetroot, as she's mentioned, how much quantity you're taking in the diet, that makes a lot of difference. So if you're adding too much of garlic or ginger, then it might, have an effect. But try, what you can do is, for some days, say for maybe for a week, remove garlic, ginger, and foods that are giving your child a problem. Remove these, and then see if there are any changes in your child's poop, or the way your child is digesting the breast milk. What you can do is, after 10 days, again add these foods to your diet and see if these foods alone are giving your child a problem. Because it's not necessary that it would be garlic, ginger, and beetroot only. There's another food that she mentioned, Preeti. Which food is it?
So she said non-veg items.
Non-veg. Okay.
Yes.
So what you can do is, slowly and gradually you can introduce one non-veg item again in your diet. So for 10 days, don't eat all these foods, and after 10 days you see if there is a change. Now, if you don't see a change, then you see a doctor. But if you see a change, then what you can do is reduce the quantity of these foods that you've been consuming. So if you're consuming a lot of ginger garlic in your diet, so reduce the quantity of ginger garlic in your diet. Also make consumption of beetroot occasional. Once you put your child on semi solids, it won't be much of a problem. For it's more, it's for like a month, because your child is only is 5 months old now. So once your child is 6 months old, then you'll put your child on weaning. So then it won't have a problem. So only for a month you need to make these adjustments, where you reduce the quantity of these foods in your diet. And also, if you are planning to consume a non-veg, or have it with maybe with rice, with roti, you can add it to your dalia, to your rice. Reduce, if you want to reduce the quantity, add more vegetables to it. So that is how you can adjust for the next 1 month. I don't think it should give your child a problem, but in case your child is having issues even after removing these foods from the diet, then you see a doctor first.
Thank you,
Yes, please.
Huda, for answering this in so much of detail. So moving to our next question. Next question is from Savita. And Savita is saying that I'm a breastfeeding mother, and sometime I don't get milk from one of my breasts, that is right breast, she has mentioned. So would you like to suggest something to her, Huda?
So, Preeti, it would typically be because she's feeding her child from one breast pretty frequently, or her child is feeding from one breast pretty frequently. So, when you don't feed your child from both the breasts equally, there are chances that the milk in one breast reduces. So, also it depends on how well your child is latching onto your breasts. So, if your child is not latching onto one breast as much as your child is latching onto the other, then it might give you a problem. Also, you can introduce foods like, add ginger garlic to your diet, garden cress seeds, flax seeds, nuts and seeds. You can add other seeds also, eggs, green leafy vegetables, oats, dalia, barley. All these can be added to your diet to increase the breast milk production. But as far as I see, is your child is latching onto one breast pretty frequently and is not taking the other. So you need to feed your child from both the breasts. So once you fed your child for 10 minutes from one breast, say from the right breast, then you need to change the position and feed your child from the other two, so that there's production of milk in the other one also. Yes, Preeti.
I hope, Savita, this helps you. So moving to our next question. So next question is from Kartika, and Kartika wants to know what kind of food she should be taking to increase the breast milk supply.
Right. So, as I've already mentioned, ginger, garlic, oats, barley, flax seeds, basil, cumin seeds, and sesame seeds, eggs, green leafy vegetables, they are very good in increasing your breast milk. In fact, they are also known as galactogogues. Even carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkins are very good for increasing your breast milk. So, add these foods to your diet. Also, you can make a lactating porridge or a lactating soup for yourself. Even those laddus that are made at home with jaggery, sesame seeds, and other nuts and seeds. They are very good, but make sure that you consume only one of these laddus in the day. Don't overdo. Rather, add all the other foods that I've asked you to add in the diet. Yes, Preeti.
Thank you, Huda. So now moving to our next question. Next question is from Sana Asif Siddiqui. So some part of his question is been already answered. So he's asking why sometimes breast milk supply become very less and how to increase the breast milk supply so that we can avoid giving top feed to the child.
How old is the child, Preeti?
She has not mentioned the age of the child.
Okay. So, as I've mentioned, that if your child is not latching onto your breasts enough, if your child is not feeding enough, if the position in which you are sitting and feeding your child is not comfortable, the child will not be able to feed properly. And if your child doesn't feed properly, then you will not get enough milk production. So, the first and the foremost thing, keep all these pointers in your mind when you're feeding your child. So, the first and the foremost thing is also it could be hormonal at times. If you are stressed, if you are really tensed, if you are going through something, if the atmosphere at your home is not conducive, it is not, it's not giving you enough time for yourself, if you're not getting enough rest, that is why also your breast milk can, reduce at times. So just keep these points in your mind when you're feeding your child. Make sure that you select a corner that is quiet. Okay, if there's no disturbance around, no phones, no iPads, no laptops around. So in a quiet corner, sit and feed your child so that your child does not get distracted by anything. Also, feed your child equally from both the breasts, as I've been saying. Don't give more chance to one breast and less chances to the other. So make sure you're equally feeding your child. Also, the time does not matter whether your child feeds for 5 minutes or whether your child feeds for 10 minutes or half an hour. But if your child is feeding pretty long, say, for half an hour or 45 minutes, that means your child is not getting enough milk, and he's trying to get enough milk by feeding for longer durations. So that's why make sure that you also eat a well balanced diet. When I say a well balanced diet, I've been saying this: eat green leafy vegetables, fresh fruits, nuts and seeds, dairy products, whole grains, eggs, chicken, and beans, lentils, omega 3 fatty acids that you would get from fish, nuts, and the other seeds that I've been mentioning. So add all these to your diet if you want that there's a continuous supply of breast milk for your child. Also, if you put your child on formula feed, and if you're frequently giving formula feed to your child, bottle feeding becomes very easy for your child because it's easier to suck on. So that's why once you start giving formula feed to your child will not take your breast milk often. If your child does not feed often, then the supply of breast milk will reduce. So these are few things that you need to take care of. Make sure that you are not stressed while you are feeding your child. Also be very assertive, very positive when you're feeding your child, that you will be able to feed your child. And as I've been saying, just make sure you drink enough water also at the same time, because water is one component that's very important for your breast milk. Because if you see, the breast milk is more of watery, it's not thick like the cow's milk. So these are few things that you need to keep in mind. Get enough rest for yourself and try and stay away from stress as much as possible. Yes, Preeti.